Well, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for this very special HR Transform event in partnership with SugarRoti. I am so thrilled to offer this as kind of it's really a first of its kind event for, just an opportunity to have a great conversation and cook together. And so I'd love to introduce you to Bina and Dana Dufresne, co-CEOs of SugarRoti. So they can introduce themselves and kind of kick us off. And then we'll circle back to do a round of introductions with the group. So ladies, I'll hand it over to you to introduce yourselves.
You want to start, Bina?
Yeah, thank you. We're so excited to have you join us and cook and have some fun together. We're gonna make 2 dishes using a garbanzo new spice, and we wanted to highlight a couple things. Number one, very beautiful. And we wanted to highlight, the reason we're making 2 dishes is we wanted to highlight the traditional dish, which is, a lot of you might be cooking that, the traditional Indian dish, chole or garbanzo or chickpea. There's so many names, chana masala.
Which is the recipe on the back of the package.
Yep. So
to make it really easy for you.
All the traditional recipes are on the back of the recipes. And then Dana's gonna make the hummus. And the whole concept of SugarRoti is like, yes, we make it super easy for you to make the traditional Indian curries, but you can take those packages and make anything else you desire. And we wanted to do hummus. You'll look at any of our packages and you'll always see the traditional dish and then so many other options. And we want you to come up with some recipes using our packages as well. So that's what we're gonna do. And then as the session goes through, we'll walk you through what we're doing. As Samara said, we're gonna do an intro of each one of you guys. As you're doing that, I wanted to make sure you guys got started with the chopping, of course, because we already did a lot of that stuff. We'll just kind of stand here and watch you guys. But if you're making the chole, chana masala, wherever the case might be, you'll get 1 onion, medium size. If you want to use a serrano, go ahead and chop all that up. I chopped it up already and put it into like a little dish. I also already chopped up my medium tomato. I have 2 cans of garbanzo beans. Stella was super hot and like soaked her own garbanzo beans.
Oh, so you're setting a high bar.
I know. I'm so jealous because I'm like, oh, hers is gonna be magical. I have my water. You can use 1.5 cups of water. You can use broth. I use water because the spices are there. You don't really need too much salt, but if you like that salty factor and stuff, then you can use
keeping it vegetarian.
Right? Whichever. We have some olive oil here. We also have ghee back here if you want to use ghee instead of olive oil. That's what you'll need for the chana masala garbanzo dish. And then we have some cilantro peppers too. Cilantro to throw on top. And then if you guys are making that dish, go ahead and start chopping your onion, your serrano, and your tomatoes. Also, there's an option for you to add yogurt, and the yogurt I usually keep on the side. Like, I taste it, and if you feel like, oh my gosh, it's too spicy, I put the seeds of the serrano in. I shouldn't have put the seeds. I shouldn't have put the serrano. The yogurt or the sour cream will always help it kind of tame it down a little bit.
So I'm gonna just get going on the.
Go over the ingredients.
Well, yeah. So again, for our hummus, again, very simple. That's what's so beautiful about it. But the magic of preparation, we did pre-slice all of our onions, and I love a serrano chili in it. I think it's really great. It adds a nice bit of heat. And again, to Bina's point, you can also take the seeds out to make it a little bit less. But it's delicious. And then obviously with hummus, you're not going to be adding sour cream, but the olive oil and the lemon and all that, it cuts it really nicely. And then we, full disclosure, did not soak our beans ahead of time. So I have 2 cans.
Yes.
And then we just use fresh lemons from the tree. I just squeeze them so they're all ready to go. but that's what will go when we're doing the food processor. That's what we're using today just to make the hummus. And then olive oil, super easy. So I'm going to get going on just getting the garbanzo beans all ready to go, sauteing and blooming our spices with the onions. And then once I finish that, I'll head over to process it and make the hummus, and Bina will start on the chole. Okay, here we go.
And we'll turn it back over to you to do an introduction while you're chopping your ingredients.
Yeah.
And ask any questions.
Yeah, and again, thank you all so much for coming. We love doing this. This is so much fun. So we really appreciate it.
So before I dive into getting to know Bina and Dana better, maybe we could do a quick round of intros. I see Bill at the camera. So maybe Bill could introduce himself, and then we'll do a quick round of intros with the rest of the attendees. And then I'll come back to get to know Bina and Dana and kind of the story behind SugarRoti a little bit more.
Cool. Thank you. It's good to see you, Bina. Dana, nice to meet you. It's been a while since, I'm trying to remember, I think it was Wind Up across from our office in New York City where I first met you, and it must have been like 2018 or so. But great to see you guys, and congratulations on your success.
Thank you.
So
do you want to say, maybe share one tidbit about like, what's your favorite thing to cook?
Ooh, gosh, good question. I don't know. I try to cook chana regularly. So I already have, I hit Bina up when she told me what she was doing. I have like the original.
Oh, wow. You're one of our original testers.
One of your OG testers. So I love it. I've tried to make chana from recipes like 25 different ways. And this stuff was fantastic. Fantastically easy, fantastically delicious. I'm in love. So
Yay,
yeah.
thanks, Bill.
Thanks, Bill. Stella, do you want to go next?
Yes, Stella Lupashor on the East Coast. I love to cook pretty much everything that is vegetarian. Although I cook meat and everything else for the carnivores in my family. I do love to mix different recipes. Even my Instagram is Moldovan Fusion, just because I don't believe in one cuisine per se. I believe that every cuisine can really benefit from inspiration from other sources. So I'm a big fan of Malengi.
That's SugarRoti in a nutshell. So that's great.
Stella, we're looking forward for you to come up with the recipes using our spices.
Yeah.
You got it.
Yeah.
Bina, Stella, what's your favorite thing to cook?
I recently really fell in love with a very simple recipe to take chana with kale. So you mix up kale and chickpeas, and then put some garlic, grated garlic, Parmesan cheese, and any other spices you may want. And then you bake.
Really good.
So simple, but it's so good.
Oh, that sounds good. I'm gonna have to.
You might have to share that recipe after with all of us.
Done that with spinach too, but it sounds great with kale. I love it.
Yeah, kale is better because spinach wilts. This one wilts the shape.
Well, we'll have to update our recipe, which is, I think we have a spinach and garbanzo, and put that comment in there that says kale.
Let's see, Vicky and Laura, do you ladies want to introduce yourselves and share your favorite thing to cook?
Hi, sorry, I was unmuting myself. I'm Laura, and I recently relocated to my childhood home of St. Louis from the Bay Area. And I'm cooking this evening with my cousin and bestie. And I don't know, I like to cook all things. So I don't know. I like exploring new vegetables and things that I haven't done before.
Yeah, new recipes, especially like fresh ingredients. And I just recently started a garden, so playing around with that has been really exciting. Not
seasonal vegetables, so nice right now.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Yeah.
Great. Well, it's nice to meet you.
Let's see, we have one more, Terry.
And you're mute.
You're on mute.
I always use my phone for the mute, and I forgot that I was automatically muted when I came in. So I'm Terry. Nice to meet you all, and this is a lot of fun. I don't know what do I like to cook? I like to cook all kinds of things. I don't have favorites. I did do a kick during COVID of desserts, like Great British Baking Show, kind of like try to make every dessert.
That's a high bar.
It is.
So I made a princess cake for my husband's birthday, so that was pretty exciting. And I made a giant, what was it? An opera cake for my son's birthday. So those were pretty exciting.
Okay. We're impressed.
We're so impressed. Put us to shame.
Okay, well, I'm going to get going here then, and Bina will sort of walk you along.
Yeah, so you can watch it on the other video if you want to, but I'll just kind of speak through a couple things. So we got, so 3 tablespoons of olive oil in a pan, just get it nice and warm, like you'll see little bubbles pop in. That's when you know your oil is hot. And then as soon as you kind of see the oil hot, you just rip open the compostable package and you throw the spices in there and you kind of let them bloom. So we'll, I think we're just waiting for the oil to get warmed up. Oh, there you go. All right.
Should we, if we're cooking the second recipe, should we also get started doing the same thing or wait until you start that?
Well, I think you guys, we can do it together. Just keep chopping.
Beautiful though.
Yeah, just keep chopping your ingredients, make sure they're all ready, because as soon as you cook, it's just a matter of throwing it all in there.
Cool. Well, that's a beautiful image there, being able to see
Aren't they so sweet? And that's something, cooking with our spices. I mean, and as I mentioned, Bina is definitely the cook of the team, but they're so pretty. They really are beautiful. So it's kind of, I mean, that makes it so much more fun to cook with them.
Yeah, and I can smell them already. They smell amazing. And as they kind of just, give it a couple minutes, 2 to 3 minutes, just kind of have it all kind of soak in that pan with the oil. And then we throw in the chopped onions, and of course we love it spicy, so we have the serrano pepper with the seeds. So I'm gonna give this to Bina.
Yep. And again, what we're doing right now is it's called blooming or tempering the spices. And really what that does is it just releases the flavor and then the beautiful aroma too. So you do want to just give it a minute like we have, and then it's ready to go.
So maybe, ladies, do you want to share a little bit about the backstory on SugarRoti and what inspired you to launch this new business? And I think from ideation to launch in, was it 9 months? I think only 9 months. So we'd love to hear a little bit more about the inspiration behind it and your journey.
Yeah, so I'll definitely tell the story as Dana cooks, and she'll jump in, and then we'll keep watching what she's doing as well. But we are super passionate about healthy food, and more importantly, adding spice into your life. We both have and had health issues, and we know that a lot of it probably came from eating processed foods and preservatives and sugar. And so I had this idea for many years, over 10 years ago, where I said, I was very healthy when my grandmother was making dinner for me. My mom was making dinner for me. And it was like going to the market, they would pick out whatever was in season, chop it up, throw their spices in, and there you go, you have the dish. So originally the idea was that I would make prepackaged meals ready to go. So you just warm it up and go. But it just wasn't the right time. So I shelved it. Many years go by. Dana and I have been working together at another company, and then the pandemic hit, and we just said we want to do something ourselves. And then the idea came of, if we just give people their spices and a recipe, boom, they're still eating super healthy. And the other piece of why we wanted to do this is also we want to be very conscious about sustainability. So we make sure our spices are organic as much as possible. Our packaging is 100% compostable. We really want to think about what we're doing for the earth. So not only eating healthy for ourselves, but being healthy and smart for the earth. So that was the idea, and that's what happened. So the idea clicked, And we're now celebrating our 1-year anniversary, and we're super excited that we made this happen in 9 months. Like, I can't believe we started selling our packages online, D2C, in mid-January. Yeah, it was really fun. Dana, anything else?
I mean, I would also add, like, this, again, Bina and I both come from the corporate world, and, you know, I've had breast cancer, and this was very important to me as sort of a manifestation of healthy eating and easy, and I have kids. But it was also, for me, coming up with products and a scalable business, and, you know, very much an impact-driven company. I really, really feel strongly. Both of us came from a company where sustainability is very core to the business and the circular economy, but also having a product and a business that we could build and scale and really have impact and be a successful business. And that's the beauty of these products, is that, you know, it is scalable, and it is such a beautiful package, a beautiful idea, and it's a brand that we can really build, and then we can add products as we go. And so it's just, the idea is like the sky's the limit with the company, not just, you know, kind of coming from it for like, this is going to be fun, and this is, you know, sort of the next step in our career. I really believe in what we're doing, and I really believe in our products.
Yeah, and I think that was the key. Well, all of that is absolutely so important to us. And then, you know, the other piece is also, we want to make it easy, you know, fun and easy to make healthy meals. Like, kids can help you make this and have fun with this, you know, this is.
Or kids can make it on their own.
So it's fun. And then, you know, part of sustainability was, and I'm going to stop for just 1 minute. So Dana added the 2 cans of garbanzo into the pan, and then she added the water, and she's going to cover it up and let it sit for a few minutes here. And you can either, you know, simmer it for 5 to 10 minutes or take it off the stove earlier. However, it's how you want the hummus to look. A little bit more water will get it kind of loose, or do you want it super, you know, dry? It's up to you.
Yeah, and then you can add whatever when you're processing the garbanzo beans. You know, you can add water, you can add more olive oil, you can add more lemon to taste, and your consistency. But this gives you a little more flexibility where it's not quite so watery, but it really is just to taste.
Yeah. And by the way, this is pretty much it as far as cooking this dish, because you're like in the next few minutes when Dana takes it off the stove, that's it. Now we just throw it in the blender, we throw the olive oil, we throw the lemon juice, mix it up, and you have, you know, you will have hummus to eat here.
Yeah. And I actually use a food processor, but if you have, you know, again, a Vitamix or a good blender, my son happened to have broken my blender, so I am using, but I mean, it's either way, it's really, it's super easy.
Okay. And I'm sorry, I forgot what I was saying about like super easy and fun and fresh ingredients.
I think we have a question. What I realized is we didn't ask how many people are making hummus and how many people are making the other curry. Or are people making both? I didn't know what everyone else was making. I'm making the chickpea curry. That's my game plan.
Me too.
Okay, Stella too. Okay, I guess everyone, Laura and Vicky.
We're making both.
They're doing both. They're ambitious, 2 of them.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, well,
okay, good. So wait, hang on. I think there's a question here from Bill. What is the source of the recipes? Are they family recipes, experimentation, a bit of both?
So the original recipes are family recipes, and the ones that I sat with my mom and wrote them out. However, I'll asterisk it. It was, you know, it was a painful task to sit with my mom and come up with these recipes, because she, first of all, never measures anything.
Right.
She just looks at it and goes, that looks good.
Eyeballs it.
So it was like constantly going, put it in your hand, put it in the spoon, let me measure it and write it down. So it was a lot of hours of doing that. But then I also was very conscious about being smart and healthy. You know, some Indian food tends to be very heavy, too much this, too much cream, too much that, whatever, too much ghee, whatever. So I did alter them as much as necessary to make sure health factor was in there. And the other thing that was really important to me was that every single dish should have some sort of green factor to it. So, you know, like we were talking about this, where you can add kale to garbanzo. That is perfect what you want to be doing, because it's like fruits and, you know, I mean, vegetables and protein. And so you'll see a lot of the
And whatever's in season too.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
the beauty
whatever,
of this. There's
yeah.
no sort of right or wrong
Yeah.
green or vegetable that you can add.
Yeah. And then, so you'll see a lot of those. You'll see greens added, which are normally not in there. You'll see that you know, coconut milk, if you want to add a sour cream, all those become optional. Yogurt, yeah. And then, so those are the traditional, that's sort of the starting point. And then every other recipe was Dana and I sitting and going, okay, well, what do you like to eat?
What sounds good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, okay, let's try to make it. And so all summer last year, we would try out whatever dish we could, and our neighbors and our family were either so tired of trying stuff or, but that's how we came up with the rest of it, and being very, very conscious of like, we want these to make the traditional dish and anything else you come up with. And all the other dishes and recipes that we have on our site are ones where we said, oh, let's try mac and cheese with this, or let's try shepherd's pie, or let's try blah, 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 whatever it is.
Yeah. Well, and this is the beauty of them too, is they're so delicious, and it's kind of intimidating for me to, you know, try and make an Indian dish. And so, or just use these spices where, again, someone, you know, with a history of cancer, it's like turmeric, cardamom, all these ginger, you know, I really want to incorporate those spices in how I cook and how I eat. And this makes it really easy to do that in anything. And then plus you don't have to go out and buy, you know, 10 or 15 bottles of spices. For me, I mean, when we were doing all this, I mean, literally one of the bottles of spices was probably 10 years old. I mean, I hate to say that. I mean, I do clean out my spice cabinet, but you just stick it in there and then you forget it. Yeah. So this just makes it really easy to cook with this spice profile and to be healthy. And it really does just break down the barriers of a cook, or how can I make, you know, Indian food, but not just an Indian curry. And so that was the idea here, is to just break down those preconceptions around cooking with these spices.
Yeah. And it's very hard to find some of these spices that are in our packages. Our packages consist of powders and whole spices. Now, you know, if you're going out there and buying these to make a chole, you're spending, you know, $100 on spices. And our whole idea is like, we do all that for you. We measure it for you. We put it in a package. The package serves 4. And it's the whole, again, staying with sustainability. Use what you need. No reason to put tons of spices in your cabinet that you might not use. No reason, yeah, and you forget. No reason to have bottles that have their own recyclable issues. This is sort of, you know, replace those jars with the spice packages. All right, how are we doing?
So we're doing great here, yeah. But I don't. Yeah. Who else is making that?
Oh yeah, Laura or Laura, are you making the hummus, or which, I forget, or is Vicky making?
Yeah, Laura and Vicky, I think are.
We're making both.
How's it going?
It's good. It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we're getting ready to take. So, go ahead.
I really like the sustainability message. It's hitting home here.
Sure. Yeah, it's really important to me. What we're doing now is Dana's pulling out some of those whole spices that are in there. So she's going to pull those out. You don't want to put those in the blender.
Want to help me out with them?
So yeah, and then she's going to go over there and blend it. So hold on, let me just help her with this.
Did Laura and Vicky already blend yours?
No.
Not yet?
It's still on the cooktop, but then we need to let it cool, right? Or no?
Yeah, just give it 5 or 10 minutes just to cool off before you process them. Yum, this looks so yummy.
It smells so delicious.
I mean, look at how pretty. Can you guys see? So gorgeous with the onions. It's awesome.
You know, put it under the other camera.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Right there. Here. Oh yeah, there we go.
Yeah, you gotta move it
Otherwise-
right under. Oh, it's hot too.
Yeah, it's so hot. There we go.
Yeah.
That's a good shot. Good shot.
That's the garbanzo. So that's a garbanzo. We're gonna let cool for a few
Yeah.
minutes, and then Dana's gonna process it in there.
Pre-puree.
Yeah, puree it in there with lemon juice and some olive oil, and that is it. And then you're done, and then you start the eating.
You don't use tahini for the hummus?
No, because we already have the spices that give it that amazing taste.
Yeah.
Now, if you want it to be creamier or maybe a little bit more, not as taste like garbanzo, you can add a couple tablespoons of sour cream or yogurt to give it that same fluff.
Yeah, and the lemon really helps with that too.
Mhm, yeah. All right, how's everybody doing to start the chana masala?
I think another 3 minutes, mash and that. Okay. And then.
All
Right. So should we start the chole?
I think so. Yeah.
Everybody got their everything cut and ready to go?
Yeah.
All right, so now again, I am going to add 3 tablespoons of olive oil in a pan. So I'm actually gonna use the same pan that Dana used because it's the same spices. So again, my messaging of easy, one pot, not too many dishes.
Yeah,
We
don't
always
have
try
to wash
stay
the
to
pan.
that, yeah. All right, so I'm gonna turn the stove on here. And I'm gonna just let it get warmed up a little bit, and I'm gonna add a couple tablespoons of olive oil. And I'm actually gonna add the olive oil right now only because I'm using a pan that already has a little bit of spice in it. So I measure my olive oil, so
Your mother's daughter.
Yeah. I kind of can eyeball it a little bit now because we've done so many of these dishes.
So many. Yeah.
You want your stove to be sort of medium high. My olive oil got warm because my pan was already warm, so I'm gonna go ahead and rip open the package. Here it is.
Rip it, simmer it, secret.
Yeah, and then start
How do
the.
you, for the non-cooker in the house here, how do I know if my olive oil is warm enough to put in my spices, or it doesn't matter?
It
It
gets
does
kind of shimmery.
Yeah, you'll see like little tiny bubbles.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it good? Oh my God. So we'll just leave it in here. And I turn it off. Will it overcook?
And I'm gonna give it a couple minutes, and you'll see that it's tempering and sort of cooking. You don't want to cook it too long, and then I'm gonna go ahead and throw my onions and serrano in there.
Okay, I don't know if my olive oil is shimmery enough, but I'm going for it.
Go for it. Yeah.
It doesn't hurt.
There.
All right, so I'm just gonna make sure, like, coat all my onions and serrano with that beautiful spice. Like weird, you have my back.
Oh, you already put all your stuff in?
Just the onions and the serrano. Just want to cook those for a few minutes. You want the onions to be just slightly soft. You'll see that they'll change texture if you cook them for it's 3 to 5 minutes.
So while we're getting started here, would love to hear, I know Bina holds a full-time job in addition to being a co-CEO of the startup. So I'd love for you ladies to talk about since I think, what is core to your values and your vision is also well-being. So how do you find balance between, your work and your life and your personal health? Would love to talk about how do you find that balance in life?
That's tomorrow.
I think part of why we started SugarRoti and pulled together the products was trying to further that idea. As 2 working women, I have kids. My kids are a little bit older now, but I mean, just to simplify all of this, but not lose the deliciousness and the fun and making it easy. So, I mean, it really is like we believe very strongly in that value proposition of our products. And, you know, it's just, I think it's discipline. I think, you know, you all can appreciate this. You just have to create boundaries in your life. And that's hard to do, but this helps you do it because it makes cooking well and cooking in a healthy way a lot easier.
Yeah, it's definitely SugarRoti for both Dana and I is our passion project, and we love it, and we're dedicating ourselves to it. You know, the other job right now pays the bills, as they say, as needed. And I'm just gonna throw the tomatoes in because my onions, as you can see, are slightly soft. So I'm just gonna go ahead and throw so that's so loud. So
Pulsating over here.
that's okay. And then yeah, I really cut and dedicate time for specific things.
In action, I hear back there. Love it.
What's everybody doing?
I think that's
No, sorry, we were not.
Look. What, Laura? What did you say?
I said sorry, we were not on mute. I think we were the noisy people.
No, that's okay. We do that. But
It smells amazing in here.
how's everybody doing? How's it looking?
I want to know how Laura's hummus came out. Laura, how's her hummus?
Yeah. Oh,
We
yeah.
about to end it, just about. Give me a minute and I'll like.
Yeah, we want to see picture. We want to see shots.
Yes, we definitely want. Oh. I'm gonna let my onion and tomato cook for a couple more minutes. I want the tomatoes also to be very soft. So, and as everybody's in place, how are you guys feeling so far?
It smells so good in here. It's really amazing.
But don't you love that part of cooking?
I'm getting hungrier and hungrier by the second. So.
Well, the good news is your chole is almost done here. You can start cooking. Oh. All right, I'm going to go ahead and add my 2 cans of gonzo into my pan.
How long do the tomatoes stay?
Just for like maybe like 2 minutes. And you can see this is beautiful. Kind of do a little mix, and then, you know, it adds for 1.5 cups water. The way I do it is I add a cup, and then if I want more curry, then I'll add a little bit more water. It's always easier to, you know, add more water than it is to take it away. So start with a cup first.
If I screwed up. Oh well.
Stella,
Can't screw up. That's
Yeah.
what's so great about this.
I know. And Stella, for you, because you're using raw garbanzo and you soak them, they probably will take a little bit longer and will need a little bit more water. And you probably know that. Well, that is almost ready. So I got some water. I reserved a little bit of water. I'm going to keep checking on it. I'm going to cover it and just let it kind of mix it all together. All right, any more questions that people have?
Trying to catch up, but let's see. I do have other questions for you while you're going. Do you maybe talk a little bit about how do you co-CEO? How do you run co-CEO? How do you guys decide how to split up the responsibilities of the business? How do you work together?
Super easy because Bina is a finance badass, if you'll pardon the expression. I do not do numbers. So Bina comes with years and years of great finance executive experience, and I've been a lawyer. I've been in-house counsel for the last X years. So those two both mindsets and skill sets really have been great. And then also, you know, Bina and I are really good friends. I mean, and that can be challenging for some people, but for us, it's been kind of our, you know, superpower. We just really believe in, you know, much of the same sort of value propositions that we bring to the company. And I think, again, the fact that we have those very technical skill sets has allowed us to lock and load and really be sort of exponentially more valuable and effective together, and also just have so much fun. I mean, it's really been a gift to be able to do this during a pandemic. You know, we've had just so much luck finding great partners and finding a great community of people like this. You know, Bina's got friends all over the world. And it just has really worked. And, you know, sometimes, again, when you come into a company where I think where there's friends, that can be challenging. You know, family, friend situations as a lawyer often create the most, you know, complicated issues. But we've really been able to just leverage off of our experience and, again, our friendship.
And I think the other aspect of it is, I think that both of us have, you know, we communicate. It's like, oh, hey, this, what do you think of this? What do you think of this? Mm-hmm. And we really not just communicate, but we listen. And I think that's important. And we respect each other's point of view, and then collectively we decide what we're going to do, because we have to decide what's best for the company. It's never personal in any form or fashion. It's about SugarRoti. And like Dana said, we both bring amazing backgrounds and knowledge to the table, and we're willing to sort of bounce ideas off of each other. We're willing to fail, and we're willing to pivot as it needs. I think that was a big deal for us. And then we're willing to reach out to people and go, I don't understand this. Can you help me better understand that? Yeah. And I think that those things are really, really important, because there is no such thing as one person knows everything.
Well, and I think also we're at a great stage in our lives and our careers where we do have a good network of people that we've worked with and that we do value their opinion. And, you know, it's part of innovating. Both of us have been at startup companies, and I think and now we both appreciate that, you know, you have to be able to be comfortable operating in the unknown and starting from a blank whiteboard and building it as we go. And for both of us, we were so ready to do that. And it's just really worked. I mean, the alchemy has really been great. And then again, the fact that Bina brought just these beautiful products, right? Because you can have the best ideas and you love each other and it's great, but without being able to build on the foundation of these incredible 15 blends, you know, it would all be sort of just an academic exercise. So it's just really worked so far, knock on wood, you know.
So my garbanzos, sorry, I saw that question. I was just gonna say, my garbanzos are done. They look good. I did not need the additional water, so I'm happy with that. So I'm going to turn mine off. And as I'm, answering some of the other questions, I'm just going to let it cool a little bit. But it looks beautiful.
Wow, that looks great.
Pick out all the whole spices out of that, and that is ready to go.
And so, B, you would take the spices out while it's simmering?
I just turned it off, so I'm going to let it cool a minute, and then I'll take it out. All right, there's a question.
Are you able to, I don't know if you're able to get closer. I'm just curious how much how liquidy it should be.
Oh yeah, here, I can show it to you. It's how you want it. That's the awesome part, because you can make it extra here. Does that help?
Yeah, that's a good shot.
Yeah, so you can make extra water to have it be more curry, or not as much water. The good news is it's up to you.
Oh, sorry. How do you know when it's done? How do you know when your chickpeas are done?
Well, it took about 5 to 7 minutes. And if you used canned chickpeas, then they're done. Stella is probably the only one that has to cook a little bit longer and double check to make sure they're cooked. And so Stella, yours will probably take a good 15 minutes. All right, there's a question here that says, how did you find the right packaging sources of spices and how do you manufacture everything? That's a really great question. We did a lot of research on packaging. It was, again, 100% compostable, was very, oh, Laura, sorry. We're looking at Laura's hummus.
Wow.
It looks beautiful. Look at that. Nice job, Laura.
Oh
And-
my goodness. That's amazing. Okay, now I
Make sure you take a picture also.
I did. I'll send
Right.
it.
That is so beautiful. Dana's gonna show ours.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
look at that. Oh, you gotta move it more. Yeah, up. Oh, too far, too far. Oh,
There we
that's
go.
that's our
Wow.
hummus with some little crudité.
At crudité, we've got little crackers, and then obviously the vegetables, a little bit of olive oil drizzled on top. And we keep ours, like, ours is not super smooth. We like it a little bit chunkier, but
So going back to the question, so compostability was, sustainability overall was important. So we did a lot of research and tried to find what was going to be the right package for us. In the end, we knew that we wanted to be 100% compostable, and that was really hard to try to find that. You know, really did a lot of research, tried to find the right vendor who would partner with us. It's also really, really important for us to be working with vendors and partners who think the way we do, where, you know, they want to be responsible, they want to be smart about the earth, people, all factors. So we did a lot of research. We
but
ran.
you know what was really surprising to us is how few
Yeah.
truly compostable
Yeah.
packaging options there are in the United States.
Yeah, that was, I think, the hardest part. That was very frustrating, where we wanted to work with US-based companies, and there was barely any US-based companies that would do 100% compostability. And so there's a whole new world that needs to start thinking about packaging altogether.
Well,
So-
and that's one thing for us also as a company, being what we call an impact-driven company, is we're by our success then elevating opportunities for these domestic packaging companies to have a market for compostable packaging. So it's all part of that, you know, sort of circularity where we can raise our suppliers with us and create more opportunity for them to have a market for truly compostable packaging.
Yeah.
And then that informs, you know, it's really hard to define compostability across states in terms of how local recycling facilities handle it and all that. So companies like us that are making this really part of what is our core value proposition, really, you know, push more clarity around that and more ownership by, you know, companies and municipalities.
And then on the sourcing of spices, again, so Dana and I got online, and we, by the way, you guys, we did all of this during the pandemic. So it's not like we're meeting people, we're constantly calling, and it's like Zoom calls, and it's like, what, I can't hear you. But we did our research, and we tried to find, again, partners who would source organic spices for us and have all the spices we needed. Some of them are like, wait, what is that? I didn't, okay, let me go try to find it. So we did find a partner in San Diego that sourced all our spices for us, organic around the world. And then they mixed it based on our recipes. They put it into the compostable package and created the package for us. And then that's how it gets shipped out to all of you guys.
And that was another sort of learning for us as well, as, you know, appreciating you've got your raw materials supplier. And again, our commitment is to always use organic when it's available, and supply chain is not always consistent. So we're focused on delivering and using only organic, and finding a supplier who likewise, you know, talks that talk and walks the walk, but then also finding a co-packer. And sometimes that's not the same provider. And, you know, we learned all of that, how you plug and play for both of those. And I think we were lucky for our initial launch to find a company that did both the sourcing and the importing and blending of our spices and then co-packing. So he had the machinery to fill our bags, which is also challenging because we're not just powders. We have quite a few whole spices, which requires a lot of manual labor. So that actually, adds to the cost and affects your margin. And it affects what we also learned, who's willing to even take on our business. And I think because we were still a new company who hadn't yet launched, there was some of that, whether we were a reliable business partner for them. But we were, I think, surprised about how great people were to work with and how interested they were to help us and to answer all of our questions and to somewhat go out on a limb and agree to work with us. I mean, that's the other thing, is we don't have a record of business. We were new. We were making all sorts of representations. We didn't have a live website yet. We hadn't launched. And we found some really great partners to work with. And it was really nice. And so, it's nice to know that people are out there that are willing to collaborate with people like us.
And my chole and garbanzo beans are done, and I'm going to try to show it. I put some pita bread or naan, whatever you want to serve it with, but that
Beautiful.
is it. And then you can just sprinkle it a little bit with some greens. Here we go, to make it look even colorful. And that's dinner, you guys. Here.
And if we had been ourselves a few weeks, maybe a month ago, we would also have a glass of wine. But we've now, as part of being healthy, I'm now only drinking on the weekends. I'm trying to moderate myself.
That's, both of us are doing that. We're like trying to be smart about our daily alcohol.
A drink for you.
It's almost weekend. It's almost Friday.
That's me. Yeah. I have water. Boo.
What other questions? How's everybody's dishes going? What does it look like?
Yeah, any taste tests yet?
Samara, how's your dish?
I
Almost
think
done?
mine looks like it has too much liquid.
That's fine. So then just uncover it.
Yeah,
And then
exactly.
just
Let it cook
uncover
off.
and let the water cook off. Uncover it, and
Put it
turn
on
it up.
simmer.
Or even put it on medium high and just let it boil off a little bit.
Yeah.
It's a solvable problem.
It is.
I mean, it looks pretty, but it just looks way too much liquid. I didn't even use 1.5 cups.
No problem though. You know what? It'll all cook off and it'll taste perhaps even better.
Yeah.
Okay.
What about Terry? How's your dish looking? Yeah. Bill? Oh yeah, I want to see it. Go ahead.
A little
Terry.
bit too much water, so I'm cooking off some of the water. I just done that. I was like, let me uncover this.
Yeah, uncover it. Oh, that looks good, Stella. I mean, Terry, sorry. How's yours going, Stella?
Let me take you to my shadow.
Oh, wow.
Beautiful.
That looks great.
And my hummus.
Oh,
Wow, beautiful.
Stella?
Hummus.
Stella? Look at that, she made both.
Wow.
What do you guys think? Well, tell us, what did you guys think of the cooking experience? Like, was it easy to make this? What did you guys think? And then I want you guys to taste it as well, of course.
So incredibly easy. Like I said, I've experimented trying to replicate like the stuff I get from restaurants. And when I see the recipes and I'm like, oh, I need some of this and some of that, and going out and procuring all the spices and, grinding them, and, it's so much work. You guys have taken all the work out of it, made it ridiculously simple. And yeah, I'm just, it's so exciting. It literally like cut the time of the recipe like by 75-80%.
Yeah,
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. And that's the whole value,
proposition
which
here.
is like, we want you to concentrate on having fun, chopping and getting the greens and stuff, and not worry about those spices. We got you covered. Terry, I see you eating some hummus. What do you think? What do you think?
So good.
Yeah.
Oh,
thank
good.
you.
So good.
Thanks, you guys. I'm so excited. So, we of course want you to buy some more spices. So use our discount code. Our discount code is buy 4, get 10% off. And the code is, and we'll have Samara send it out, but it is new cook 10 off. So NUCOOK 10 off.
Number 10.
Yeah, and actually, we'll end it with the story around yes, thank you. We'll end it the story around SugarRoti and where new comes from. And so SugarRoti is, most of you might know, but a roti is like an Indian flatbread. So a long time ago when I was a little girl, and I used to go to my grandmother's house when she was making the rotis, as they were coming off the stove, she would put ghee on it and then sprinkle it with sugar, roll it up, and that was your treat for the afternoon. We used to run around and be happy as could be. Many, many years go by, and I'm at my mom's house, and I have about 6 nieces and 1 nephew. And I noticed that when my mom was making the roti, they were all lined up in the kitchen for her to give them all their little, sugar roti. And so I knew that was the name of our company, because it talks about tradition and simplicity and the joy of, just traditions and joy of sharing meals together. And then new comes from a Gujarati word. So again, keeping with the tradition, new means like for or of. And so what we wanted to do is name the spices garbanzo new spice, which means, spice for garbanzo, that kind of stuff. So, and it talks about new traditions, modernness, simplicity, yet healthy, yet holding on to your tradition. So we really love the new factor as well.
Yeah, and that again speaks to really sort of a core of our business, which is honoring the traditions of these incredible spices and the flavors, but bridging them into modern kitchens and cooks like me that, now you can use these spices in anything, and it's easy, and it's really, what I love, to Bina's point, the name SugarRoti and then incorporating new, it really is reflective of breaking down barriers and coming together in simplicity and all these really easy, simple ingredients. But when you take them all together, it creates something really transformative as a matter of health, wellness, flavor, ease of cooking, and creating these traditions, these new traditions with your own family.
Yeah. And I see Bill said kimcho. We should have said that at the beginning, which means hello. And then, and of course, when we end, we always go namaste, which also means hello and goodbye and thank you.
Thank you, ladies, so much. I feel like that was such a perfect ending to a wonderful hour together. Although, while some of us continue to try to cook off liquid, which I'm doing, but I'd love if everyone could share pictures. I know SugarRoti has social handles, so feel free to also share there and tag them.
Appreciate that. Any feedback is great.
And go onto our website and, of course, buy more spices, but more important, recipes.
Yeah,
put them out there.
Share them.
Or, provide comments, or, Stella, I think you should go into that garbanzo spinach one and make a comment about your
using
kale. Like, I think that is, and the Parmesan cheese. I don't think you can go wrong with that. Like, I'm so going to make that tomorrow.
So good. And so easy.
Yeah, thank you so much, you guys.
Thank you. This was absolutely awesome.
Thank you. Thank you very much for joining us. We really appreciate it. It was so nice to meet you all.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.